Today we're going to dive into a story about how a rich boy from a private school, who the media described as being influenced by the drill scene, ended up taking his friend's life out of nowhere. Very, very crazy story, guys. Make sure you drop a like below to support the channel, and let's get straight into this one. The victim in this case, who could be distinguished in the CCTV by his glasses and his white trainers, and then you got Adam in this case as well, who's wearing the cap and has a man bag, arrive at the Square shopping centre in Hale on mountain bikes at 3:45 PM on March the 2nd, 2019. Yusuf had spent the night at Adam's house, and they were friends from a Manchester grammar school. They arrived at the shopping centre, picked up on the CCTV footage on their mountain bikes, and the boys are joined at 3:58 PM by a former public schoolboy, Joshua, who is riding a racer and has the spliff in his mouth. You can point him out in this case, he's got the grey jogger bottoms with the man bag on as well. The three cycle into an underground car park at the supermarket at 4:01 PM. Now, once they actually get into this car park, it gets strange, because the three of them, it seems, were planning some sort of sparring session. Yusuf is seen warming up doing some shadow boxing first on CCTV, and later in this footage you will see Adam captured on his phone. He told the inquest he was just trying to call his drug dealer to reduce an order for cannabis he had made whilst he was at his home from £90 to £45, and he said the trio smoked a joint with Joshua, the guy that arrived last. Whilst Adam is doing that, Yusuf is shadow boxing with Joshua. Strange footage, it looks like they're just going back and forth, practicing, playing around, and then Yusuf was shadow boxing with Adam, the guy that just changed his order on his drug deal. This is at around 4:30 PM. In turn, the three boys then cycle out of the underground car park at around 4:38. But Adam revealed while he was in his car park that Joshua had been impressed when he showed him the flip knives he had managed to get. He had flashed them about in the car park and was showing them off, and Josh was impressed by this. Apparently, Adam and Yusuf had jointly ordered the pair of flip knives whilst at school on a break from their lessons. They attended a Manchester grammar school together a fortnight earlier, allegedly where they made that order. On that day, Adam had one of them on him. Also, Yusuf allegedly had one of them on him as well, and then Joshua had a little penknife. So moving on in the story, the three boys are next captured on CCTV cycling on their bikes near the M56 at around 4:41 PM. Adam is cycling quickly, but the same camera opposite direction at 5:02 PM. And he was seen looking over his shoulder on an out of view camera, and Joshua Molnar had been beaten and had his bike thrown over a hedge by associates of an alleged drug dealer. Joshua was then picked up on CCTV walking back up towards Chapel Lane with two unidentifiable figures at 5:05 PM. He's without his £2,000 carbon fibre expensive bike, and then he was followed just a few seconds later by Yusuf on his bike. So sometimes you guys get confused. Let's catch you up briefly on what's going on. Basically, these three friends have met up, and on the way back from where they met up, just having a little bit of fun, doing usual teenager stuff, one of the boys, Joshua Molnar, has been robbed for his £2,000 bike out of nowhere, and it's allegedly over some sort of clash with drug dealers. Then Joshua and his friend Yusuf are seen on CCTV trying to find his bike. Don't know where it was stashed or what exactly happened, if they made off on it. And then you can see Adam, who is arriving at his home at 5:56 PM. Then he leaves a few seconds later. He goes home a second time 6 minutes later. I don't know if he rushed out to try to back his friend upon hearing the news, but it literally seems like that was the case, because he rushed back out of his house. And I've got to say, it's a pretty nice house this boy is living in. It literally looks like a mansion that he's going back and forth from. Now, at this point, Joshua is angry. He's had his bike taken as worth £2,000, and he was captured on CCTV taking Adam's £300 jacket off of him. It was captured on CCTV footage. He blamed Adam for the earlier incident and said that him taking that jacket was going to be compensation until his bike had been returned to him. Then he'll get his jacket back. And on this next bit of CCTV, you can see quite clearly Joshua walking with the jacket in his hand, followed by both Yusuf and Adam as they continue their search for the bike. Joshua of course has took Adam's jacket off him, but we gotta think why. Of course, his friend has come out to help him in a situation. He could have just stayed at home. Why are you taking your friend's jacket? It may be something to do with the fact that Adam arranged that drug deal. If you guys remember at the start of this video, I said when they were sparring, Adam went off and arranged the deal. So them drug dealers could have been the people that took Joshua's bike, and that's why he took it out on Adam. They wasn't actually captured on CCTV picking up the drug deal that he was arranging on the phone. So maybe when they left and he was off camera at a certain point, that's when it went wrong, and then Joshua's bike was taken. Joshua Mona is then captured walking along Gorse Bank Road at 6:34 p.m, followed by Adam, and then a little way behind to finally Yusuf Malik, who breaks into a run. A fatal stabbing has now occurred off camera at about 6:36 p.m. And that incident is unfortunately Joshua Mona taking the life of Yusuf, and then you can see him on CCTV returning back onto footage around 96 seconds later. A very quick incident that got out of control. A security guard who became aware of this situation is seen on CCTV rushing to the incident. I already previously covered this case on YouTube. The CCTV was just released today, so we could go over it in more detail. But now we're to put into context the story of the killer in this case and his victim, which I'm going to put in now, and I'm going to put in reactions at the end as well. Selfie videos shown during the trial filmed him acting out violent scenarios, which his own lawyer would call idiotic fantasies, fueled by the love of drill music tracks which glorified the use of knives. He filmed himself with a machete in the mirror of his bedroom, sniggering as he made violent stabbing motions towards another boy, the point of the blade coming just a few centimeters from his face. February 2019, Mona shot another video where he appeared to make slashing movements across the throat of someone in the distance with a machete before poking the blade into the mattress. Then on March the 2nd, he stabbed somebody for real, his friend Yusuf, through the heart on Gorse Bank Road in Leafley Howell Barnes. An act of the jury accepted by their verdicts was self-defense. But Mona was locked up after he admitted possessing the knife which caused Yusuf's fatal wound and perverting the course of justice by lying to police that someone else had inflicted the injury. But what actually happened in that incident where Mona took Yusuf's life? So during the trial, Mona admitted to having a knife on him, and he told the court that following an argument between the boys after a butch attempt to buy drugs, Mackie had pulled out a knife, so he had pulled out a flick knife in return. Mona testified that he did not know how he ended up stabbing his friend. Mackie's family have also maintained that there was no DNA or independent evidence that Yusuf had a knife, but the assertion was accepted by the jury as a part of Mona's self-defense claim. When Mona was cleared of murder and manslaughter in July, there were angry scenes in Manchester Crown Court. Mackie's father collapsed after shouting, "Where's the justice for my son?" Yusuf's sister previously told the guard and the family were made to feel like criminals during the trial as they were asked to sit in the public gallery, while the relatives of the defendants, both the middle-class Cheshire families, were given priority seating in the courtroom instead of the victim's family. Joshua got off with this lightly because he managed to fog a lot of the blame onto the other boy in this case. He said the boy that arranged the drug deal, like we talked about earlier, had caused the whole situation. It made everything go wrong from there because Yusuf was taunting him about getting robbed for his bike and calling him a pussy for that situation. He admitted he pushed Yusuf after the jibe and said Yusuf answered with a punch. As Mona put in his trial, I was just kind of a bit confused. I wasn't really expecting it. Then I've looked up at Yusuf, is quite annoyed at me at this point. I believe I saw him take out his knife and he looked at me and was going to hit me again, saying come on, come on. Yusuf, he said, would not back down from a confrontation and he just didn't want to get beaten up again. Feeling quite on edge, I've started to take a knife out of my pocket, he said. I just wanted to warn him and trying to get him to leave me alone. Asked how the knife ended up inside Yusuf, he said, not really, I don't know what I did, I don't know how it all came together. In the aftermath, Mulder described how he made an attempt to help Yusuf, taking off his top and using it to try and stem the bleeding. Josh saying that he tried to help stem the bleeding and save him would make it seem like it was an accident, but he also threw the blade into the bush and lied that the knifeman must have been in a car, a VW Polo, that he claimed had driven away from the scene of the stabbing. Last year, Joshua Mona, 18 from Hale, was found not guilty of an M charge at manslaughter following a trial at Manchester Crown Court. He admitted possessing a knife which inflicted the fatal injury and lying to police at the scene, and was sentenced to a 16-month detention order and training order. Huge rest in peace to Yusuf, and my thoughts are with his family. And that is it for this video, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Peace out.